the beat.
From a high level, Forza Motorsport is all about car passion, loving cars. And that's really been the heart of our franchise from the very beginning. And it's the cars that you love, not necessarily the cars that I love, and it's the diversity of our car community that's very important. So that means trying to get more types of players. And that includes guys like, my father-in-law, who can take apart the most complicated engine you've ever seen in the world, and yet he's actually intimidated by this. I'm amazed because I look at the tools he's using and what he's doing in these engines, and I'm like, clearly he's brilliant, and yet this is too much for him. So as soon as we saw Kinect, instantly I saw an opportunity to do features that move towards our vision. And the feature I'd like to show you is Auto Vista. Turn it up a little bit. So Auto Vista can be controlled with either Kinect or a controller. I'm going to do it with a controller, obviously. It makes for an easier demo in this kind of situation. It works roughly how you'd expect in that you can lean right or lean left and move around the car. You can move back and see the car from all angles. You can even move up close or crouch down towards the sensor and really move in and see the details. Now, this was really important to us to get people to desire, want to touch the car, want to stand up. It sounds kind of car pornographic, but honestly, that's kind of how we see cars, is these amazing works of art, amazing technology. But to get to this level of detail meant rethinking how we actually deliver content. Now, if you think of most games, they're epic experiences. New York is on fire, missiles coming in from the sky, and you take it in from a distance. But then the moment you go into an alley and you get right up to the wall, you get pixelation and the normal mapping. And Auto Vista is exactly the opposite. We're trying to be introspective, get you really up close to that car. We also wanted the cars to be highly interactive. So you can literally reach out with your hand, grab the handle, and lift the door up. And the cars we selected for Auto Vista mode were selected because they have incredible history, or they show great technology, or they're just highly interactive in general. Now, this car's got some cool stuff going on. You can move around, take a closer look at the car, change the color. But what's even better is being able to get up close, lean in, and really check out the details. Now, to provide this level of detail, we had to think of new ways of delivering shaders like carbon fiber and that kind of orange peel stipple that's on top of the valve cover there. We also wanted people to get more detail about the car. So as you move around the cars, you can select more detail that is sometimes anecdotal or sometimes more technical.
The 6.3-litre naturally aspirated V8 engine produces 571 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds and achieves a top speed of 197 miles per hour.
Now, while that one's pretty technical, you can also move around the car and find other points of interest. In order to provide more editorial content, we got into a creative partnership with Top Gear. And so on each one of the Auto Vista cars, there's a Top Gear tour as well.
This is not just the greatest car Mercedes makes. Right now, I think it's the greatest car in the world. It's more powerful than a Ferrari 458, it's a little bit louder than a Lamborghini, and it's way more fun than the 911 RS GT Turbo 3S, or whatever this week's Ultimate Beetle is called.
Now, Jeremy has opinions on all cars, and this is something we didn't want to edit. We really wanted Jeremy to be able to be himself and Top Gear to be the editorial staff they are. So they tell it like they see it, and that allows us to be the play-by-play. They're the color commentary. We can tell you more of the facts about the car. Now, each one of the cars we selected was very, very rare. So we actually have one car where there's only one of them in the world, and it's actually in Jay Leno's garage. Now, cars like that, most people will never see in their entire life. In fact, this is one of the least rare cars in this experience. So this is a car that, if you don't live in a metropolitan area like New York or London or Munich or something like that, you're never going to see a car like this. And even when you do, you're very rarely going to be allowed to open up the door, walk up, and just get right in. And of course, as soon as you get in a car, what you really want to do is look around, see the stitching, the carbon fiber, and then you can reach your hand out and start the car up. So really we think of these cars as levels in a platformer game, where around every corner there's cool information, there's cool details, something new to explore, and for you to really admire and get into the work of art. So while, cars are often thought about just for racing, this is really treating them as something to, stoke your car passion. So I want to go to the career real quick and actually talk about car passion a little bit more. We have added a lot of features to the career, but at heart, what Forza Motorsport's all about is the cars you love. So while we have hundreds and hundreds of cars in the game, and they're all premium with interiors and damage and customization, we treat them all with the same level of respect, because I don't expect you to collect hundreds of cars. What I really expect you to do is find the 5, the 6, the 10 cars that really matter to you. So this car, for example, is my car. This is the car I drive to work in every day. And I've got it customized the way I do in the real world, black wheels, tinted windows. This is the same black metallic blue paint that I've got on my car. And what's great about the new World Tour mode in career, turn this down, is that it allows you to explore the cars that you love. So in the World Tour, we take you from one venue to the next, and at each venue, we present you with a series of races you can do. And the races are made for the car you're in. Because what we don't want is that if you love the STI and all of a sudden there's a Ferrari available, we don't want the game to ever tell you, you know what, you should throw away that STI you love because now there's a Ferrari and you need to go drive it. Instead, we say if you love that STI, play through the whole career that way. So since I'm the BMW M3, I'm going to be presented with options that were made for BMWs. So there's a E92 spec event, there's a M3 which have historics, and then there's an Italian sports car event which actually is made for another car in my garage, which is the 458. So you can choose to get out of your car, but our goal is to give you plenty of options in the car you have. As I go through the career, I will get V8 events, rear-wheel drive events, I'll get BMW-only events, rival events, BMW versus Audi. So it feels like this whole career was made for me and my choices. But the choice doesn't stop there, even as you level up. In Forza 3, when you level up, you get a gift card. But you don't have any choice in what that gift car is. In Forza 4, you get an option of gift cards. So you can follow your passion. If you're really into BMW, you get an option of an Audi, a Mercedes, a BMW, an Opel. You can choose the BMW and continue that love affair and that affinity with the manufacturer that you really like. But there's one other aspect that really, I think is really exciting about the difference between 3 and 4, and it's really because I love playing Forza, and I think a lot of our fans do, and that's the profile import. So if you played Forza Motorsport 3, and let's say you're at level 30, 40, 50, and you've got several very rare cars in your garage, maybe unicorns or something you've collected, we look at the cars in your garage and your level, and we gift cars into your Forza Motorsport 4 career. So it's not a direct import, it's more like Mass Effect, where it's kind of, we take what was in there and we give you things that are going to keep the game really fun and balanced. But honestly, the cars have changed so much with the new shaders in the cockpits, new lighting, that we actually can't import directly. We have to kind of interpolate it around. So the cars you get, though, are great. I mean, we actually give you the 458, the Bugatti Veyron, the Peugeot 908. So these are really fast cars. And very early in your career, you can just start using those wherever you want. And another aspect of Forza is important is that you can play how you want. So it's not just playing in the cars you want, but play how you want. We've done a lot of work in simulation, and when you turn the assists all the way off, you're driving a raw, great simulator engine with data for the tires straight from Pirelli. But on top of that, you can go all the way to the easy level, at which point it's auto braking, it's auto steering. It makes it where a 6-year-old can play the game. But even so, we wanted more ways to play. So yeah, play with a wheel, you can play with a controller, but also there's Kinect integration. So we looked at Auto Vista, and Auto Vista has Kinect where you can move around the car. We also have Kinect head tracking. We videotape people and how they naturally played. We found that some people turn their heads to look at the edge of their screens. They don't even realize they're doing it. And other people lean. I found out I'm a leaner. I didn't know that, but I tend to lean when I'm looking into the corners. And the camera just automatically swivels. You can power your way past the apex, and it's just much more immersive, but very subtle. We have Kinect voice hyperlinking, and that allows you to just say Xbox paint car. You could be 6 levels deep in the tuning area. It's going to save your work, back out, and going to paint car. And that allows us to use Kinect to even make the core Forza-loving, Forza-faithful fan have a richer experience because they can move through the UI much quicker than going back, down, A, really doing that selection. But the ways you can play extends even into community as well. We feature 16-player multiplayer races, public lobbies, and Forza has always included some pretty interesting race types. Cat and mouse. We have things like capture, what is it called? Keep the It and tag. We have Keep It Clean, which is like Demolition Derby. And so while we have racing for hardcore racers, we have races that, a 13-year-old kid can just have fun playing with cars. Well, for Forza 4, we've added Top Gear Football, and or Top Gear Soccer. Top Gear Soccer works basically as you'd expect. There's a big ball in the middle. You can play 5-a-side, you can play 8-a-side. There's goals on each side. And in the show, they had Igos versus Foxes, the little small city cars. We found on our team, we tend to play position soccer. So that means we've got defenders tend to be SUVs like the X5. And in the midfield, we've got STIs and Evos that you can really move around a lot. And then as striker, we tend to use supercars. Why wouldn't you? You don't have to pay for it. But where that gets more interesting is in car clubs. And unfortunately, our servers are down right now, so I can't show all of these features. So I'll talk quickly and we'll get on track. Car clubs works like you'd expect. If you've played any first-person shooter in the last 10 years, it's like clans. So I can start a clan, I'll be the president, I can ask you to join, you be a vice president, we can all get together. But where it gets more powerful is in the Forza DNA, and that's car collecting, tuning, customizing, upgrading. So it's like a cooperative buying club. I can save up my money and buy the Veyron, you could save up your money and buy the Enzo, and I don't have to buy the Enzo because I can drive yours. And you don't have to drive the Bugatti because you can drive mine. So we're stronger together. But then when you think about painting, what's happening on our team is we've got a great painter that's in our club, and he paints all the jerseys for Top Gear Soccer. So that when we go and play the game, our jerseys look really, really unique to us and kind of support our club style. But if you have great tuners, it's very powerful as well, because the tuner makes all the drivers faster. He can tune all these cars that the drivers go set hot laps on, and therefore the club is actually faster on the club leaderboards. Now, we also have Rivals mode. I went into at E3. It's a great mode, and this features more Top Gear integration. You can actually do the reasonably priced car in here. So we have a challenge where it's on the Top Gear test track and a Kia Ceed, and you basically can challenge your friends, win money, they can challenge you back. It's very social that way. But let's get on track. So we're going to go to the Alps track. This was featured at E3. And I'm basically gonna let it drive for a second. But what I'd like to show you on the Alps track is our new lighting model. This is called IBL, image-based lighting. And this was a technique that we took through from Hollywood, basically. We hired somebody out of Pixar and worked with Hollywood talent to redo how we thought about cars and how we thought about lighting. Now that helped Auto Vista tremendously, but then once we got it working for Auto Vista, we also got it on track. And this track was built really to show off what IBL could do, because frankly, this track, we couldn't have made this in Forza Motorsport 3. Traditionally, lighting engines in games, including Forza 3, have one lighting model for the environment and a different lighting model for the car. And we tune them so they look as similar as possible, but they're not exactly the same. And when you get into extreme conditions, like what is on this track, with the extreme bloom of the snow next to this really dark rock, and you have the organics of trees next to the very structured lines of architecture, it's hard to get that lighting to really work. And it's even harder on a paint like this. So this is how my car looks in the real world. It's got a metallic blue, and it catches light in very, very unique ways. And I actually really like showing this off because I didn't realize it. That was not the reason I bought the car, but it turns out it's actually a really good demo of IBL and the technology we have here. So I'm gonna have the AI drive for a second. Now, what you can see is also new cockpit rendering. So through Auto Vista, we found new shaders for carbon fiber, Alcantara, leather, aluminum. And all of those things come into all of the new cockpits. We also moved the camera back, tilted it down, and made it a better driving position for people. But you can also see the lighting model with the high contrast rolling across the dashboard. You can see how it blooms off the leather. All of this is new to Forza Motorsport 4. And the important thing is that we treat all cars with the same level of respect. Whether it was a Ford car or the creative director's car, they all get respected in the same way. When I pop out and I look towards the sun, you can see the side of the car gets really dark. And when I get the light on the car, you can see blue coming out in the car's paint. Now that blue is the metal fleck, and it only reacts to full spectrum light, like sunlight. That's how it is in the real world in my car. And when I go into the bounce lighting and you're getting a lot of the light coming off the rocks, or even the unnatural light coming out of the tunnel, the blue goes away because it's not full spectrum light. All of this comes out of that IBL. I'll put it back in cockpit mode and let it drive for a little while. Now there was one last piece of news that we debuted here at Gamescom, and that was the inclusion of the Hockenheim ring. Hockenheim's a track in Germany. It's a great track for us because it gives us another stop on the world tour. You stop in Germany again, not just for the Nürburgring and the Nordschleife, but actually now for Hockenheim as well. It's featured in 2 times of day, so we have the kind of golden hour at dusk, where the sun is peeking around the grandstands and creates new gameplay because you're kind of getting blinded by the sun on some corners. But it also has this really cool corner. It's like a straightaway with a slight bend to it heading to a hairpin. Great braking zone, very hard to set up for, and it gave us just new gameplay for the game. We now have new modes and new ways to earn XP and earn money. So Rivals mode, for example, we have 16-player multiplayer, but also that car football actually gets you XP and money. So you can kind of turn this into a football game if you wanted. It's really however you want to play. But yes, it does go into your world tour and your career account. So it's really one big career. We didn't want to just say, if you want to play like this, you have to be in this area. We tried to make it seamless. We actually look at games inside of our genre very little. Obviously I play them. I would be remiss in my position if I was not always playing the competition and knowing where the bar is for racing. But our goal is to go towards that vision of getting people excited about cars. Well, tapping into people's passions, that's not just something you do in cars. That happens all over the world. That happens in advertising. That happens in multiple genres of gaming, but as well as books and media and movies. So we've taken, kind of famous borrowing from things like Pokemon, which has always inspired us. Our auction house, we did a lot of play in World of Warcraft. Our storefronts were actually more borrowed from things like Yahoo stores, frankly, and Amazon stores. That's where we looked at the mechanics. The Rivals mode, that's really the natural extension of what our time trials were, as well as looking at just how asynchronous play could work. So it's a combination of multiplayer and ghost racing in one. But honestly, we're huge gamers. That's a big thing. It's kind of sucks actually coming to a game show like this, and I'm doing interviews, so I don't get to go play any of the games. But this holiday with Skyrim and Call of Duty, and there's just Batman. There's so many games coming out I'm excited to play. And whenever we see an excellent game like that, we're always looking for new ways of doing it. Usually, I think it's hard for people to always see where we got the inspiration from, because the interface, people kind of judge, well, here's how it looks. And it's like, we're actually looking at the mechanics underneath. So sometimes it may actually have inspired us, but it's hard to exactly see how, because it's covered up by a different interface from one game to the next.